Leigh Harvey had always been a tough bastard. Raised on the rugged hills of Wanganui, New Zealand, he knew how to hunt possums, gut eels, and light a fire in the rain with nothing but wet moss and grit. But yeah, naked and afraid was something else entirely. When the producers called, he didn't hesitate. Survival, Africa, no clothes, no food, no help. Sweet as, he'd said. His partner was Sophia Randall, a 31-year-old wilderness fitness coach from Sydney, Australia, all lean muscle and big confidence. She talked about her Pilates breathwork, a vision quest in Byron Bay, and how she could read animal tracks by feel. Leigh just nodded, polite as always. They met for the first time at Extraction Point. Naked, nervous, and dropped in the Zambezi Valley during the dry season. Temperatures soared over 40 degrees Celsius during the day and plummeted at night. They built a boma, a crude, thorn-fortified shelter, near a parched waterhole. Leigh fashioned a fire plow and lit a flame by dusk, but Sophia was already spiraling. She hadn't eaten, her stomach was cramping, and the heat was more than she'd ever faced in training. By day 2, Sophia collapsed mid-afternoon, eyes rolling back, her voice slurred. The medic team was called in. Her primitive survival rating had plummeted to 4.5, a sharp drop from her starting 7.6. Heat stroke and acute dehydration. She tapped out, tears streaking her dusty face as she was medevaced out. Leigh watched in silence, nodding once. Then he turned back to the fire and fed it more twigs. Alone now, Leigh hunted termites, chewed bark, and drank water from elephant footprints. Every night, the howls of hyenas, the scream of bush babies, and the low cough of lions rang through the air like taunts. He barely slept. He caught a snake on day 7, a fat puff adder he skewered with a carved spear. It was a risk, their venom is one of Africa's deadliest, but Leigh didn't flinch. He skinned it, roasted it over fire, and gnawed every last bite from the bones. By day 10, he was running low on energy. His ribs showed and his legs ached from infection in a thorn wound on his calf. But he'd seen movement to the north, a troop of baboons, and where they were, fruit might be. He left the boma with nothing but a crude spear. So, the baboons spotted him before he even got close. There were about 30 of them, big males posturing and, screaming with their teeth bared. He backed off, but, one of them lunged, a silverbacked alpha with these jagged canines. Leigh lashed out, catching it in the shoulder with his spear, and the whole troop scattered. Blood dripped from the spear, baboon blood. That was mistake number 1. Mistake number 2, he didn't notice the lion spoor. About 2 kilometers from camp, the wind changed. That's when he heard it. A low rumble behind the acacia trees. A female lion, lean from hunger, crouched in the undergrowth. Baboon blood had drawn her in. Her cubs waited nearby. Leigh turned slowly, raising the spear. But yeah, too late. She lunged. The spear caught her in the ribs, but her momentum carried her forward. 200 pounds of muscle and claw just crashed into him, knocking him flat. Her paw raked his chest, gouging a deep trench from shoulder to belly. But Leigh didn't scream. He rammed the butt of the spear into her eye. She roared, staggering. Blood sprayed. Somehow he got up, limping, covered in blood, hers and his. Another lion was circling, a young male this time. He ran, not to escape, but toward the boma. If he could make it back, the thorns might protect him. He collapsed 30 meters from camp, face first in the dust. A camera drone operator, watching from miles away, triggered the emergency beacon. When the medic team arrived by chopper, Leigh was unconscious, his PSI dangerously low at 5.1, just above the survival threshold. The wounds were severe torn muscle, cracked ribs, and, a deep infection in his leg. But he was alive. They pulled him out with the rising sun behind them. His final words before sedation were recorded. "Tell Sophia she lasted longer than I thought. But I wasn't gonna die out there." Leigh recovered in a Johannesburg hospital. He returned to Wanganui 3 months later, his chest scarred like a map, walking with a limp but alive. He never reapplied for the show. When a reporter asked him if he'd do it again, he just chuckled. Once was enough. Lions don't forget. Naked and Afraid Africa Bloodground aired that season's most-watched episode. Viewers called it the most brutal survival story in franchise history, but Leigh never watched it. He preferred the bush. Quiet, raw, real, just the way it tried to kill him.